Yes, finally, Ancestry has added some new features that we have been asking for. I can't wait to show you. Now, just because I'm trying to push this out really fast here in the beginning of September, I wanted to go ahead and get this done so there's no handout for this episode. But let me show you some of the new features that I'm finding around the Ancestry platform. Let's go. All right, I'm super excited because Ancestry has finally added a fan chart. Yay! So it is beautiful too. And if you'll notice here, we have colors for our 4 grandparents. Yay! And one of the things that you can do, so here's how you find it basically. You've got your traditional horizontal view. There's your vertical view. And now you have the fan view. And by the way, anytime you see this little beta, that means that they will be asking for feedback. So if you have any feedback you want to give them a lot of kudos, because we have been asking for a fan chart on the Ancestry platform for quite a while. Now, if you go up here to the top where it says fan settings, you can drop down and you can pick the number of generations. You might start when you first go here with 4 generations, but you can go all the way out to 7 generations, which is pretty awesome. If you look here, I've got some potential ancestors with that green dashed lines, which means it's not in my tree. And then here, they don't have any hints to give me as to who it could be, but probably based on records and other family trees, they're suggesting that these are ancestors that I can fill in. I love this. It is beautiful. So if you go to the 3-dot menu and go to tree viewing options right here, click on that, you can turn off and on different options. Now in here on the fan view, the only really difference you'll see is between light mode and dark mode. If you are in the vertical view, now this isn't anything new, but just to show you, if you are in vertical view and you go to tree viewing options, you can turn on like comments. You can see the little comment icon pop on. You can see possible DNA connections. You can turn on through lines. There's the little through lines icon. You can turn on always view spouses. You can turn on relationship labels. For example, there's a relationship label. You can choose that. And most of these work in the vertical view, and they've added this label here, which is kind of nice to show us what is available in the vertical view only. And then we've also got some of those DNA badges as well. I'm going to turn those off. I'm going to collapse this down, and you can see that you have activity also is turned on, which is right here. We'll talk about that, the dark mode that we've just talked about. So the next thing I want to talk about is this little button right here. It says beta. This used to say hints. So when you open this up, it basically is giving you the top hints for your research that you have been actively working on. So I just wanted to point that out. Also, anytime that you see that anything in beta, whether it has a beta label or not, if you want to provide feedback, that sends information directly to the engineer who is working on that area. So if you just want to send them a kudos and give them a thumbs up, I'm sure they would appreciate that as well. So a few weeks ago, I did this episode about how to upload video to Ancestry. And you basically do that by uploading it to Vimeo or YouTube or something, and then grabbing a URL and putting it in as a hyperlink in the profile of your ancestors, okay? But check this out. Now, this is maybe a hint of things to come, because I scoured the Ancestry platform yesterday trying to figure out where this is coming from, and I think that maybe they're starting to build this out to add video. So if we go to tree overview, check this out. So down here it says videos 0. Now, I have tried every which way to see if there is a way to upload video, and currently there is not, that I have found. If you've found a way, let me know in the comment sections. But there is a way to upload MP4 files, but they will only allow, MP4 files, by the way, are video files and audio files. But right now they're only allowing MP4 audio only files, because I tried to upload an MP4 yesterday and it would only allow an audio file. So for some reason in this summary, videos has started to show up right here. So I'm wondering if we aren't going to be able to add videos to our ancestors profile in the future. I think that might be a clue. So we talked about this briefly in the July update for Ancestry, and just as a reminder, we're in the horizontal view over here, but if we go to the 3-dot menu and we click on tree viewing options, I know everybody's still kind of getting used to these new menus. I wanted to point this out because your DNA options, these badges that you see, are on here as well. We can turn those off and on. And so, for example, this badge right here would show somebody who has this guy as the same common ancestor with me. And so then you could click through and look at the through lines, especially if you have this one turned on. You could click through and see the through lines for that person or persons who have, in my case, William McFarland Smith as the common ancestor. And so these little badges can be helpful sometimes. So I just thought that was worth repeating. And you could also have possible DNA matches, which aren't showing here right now for me. But I see this more often when I'm in the other view, this vertical view. None of these are going to show on the new fan chart. So another new option that is, I haven't talked about on the channel, it's been out for a couple of months, but I haven't talked about it yet. It has to do with the message center. So if you click on the little message icon next to your name and you click into all messages, we have DNA circles now, which is new. So if we want to create a new circle, we could add people to this by clicking on create circle. So if you have a lot of family members who are on Ancestry and you're working together, you could actually create this circle of messages, this group that everyone would be party to, that you invite to, and they can accept or deny that invitation to the circle. So you could click on invite or create a circle, like you could create a circle with your family surname, let's say, and then invite people to the circle. Well, I haven't done this yet, but if you have multiple circles, like you've got one for your father's side, one for your mother's side or whatever, you could have different people invited to different circles. So I haven't really played with this much. I just wanted to point it out that it was here. This is the only way I've been able to find it. It is not in any of these menus up top. And so just FYI. Now, I don't know about you, but I had something strange happen yesterday when using the Ancestry cell phone app. I had gone in and created a story using the app. And then once I did, all of a sudden I started getting spam messages in the messaging center on the Ancestry platform. I would love to know if anybody else is having that same problem. Please let me know in the comment sections below. But what was happening was I was getting a ton of people just saying hello, which usually is an indicator of spam. So if you're having that problem, I would love to know it. I would like to report that to Ancestry if anybody else is also having that same problem. And by the way, to Ancestry's credit, I have never gotten spam before, and so I don't know if it's just because I am on YouTube or not, but I went and removed the story because it was just a test story anyway, but it was just kind of odd. Okay, so I'm on the home page. This is home, right? And I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but there's some new things going on here that I hadn't really even paid attention to before. This box here, this little widget, you know, you go straight to the tree that you last worked in, which is noted up here. Tree hotspot. I haven't figured out exactly what this is or why it's here. Maybe it's people that I was working on recently. I know I've been in and out of these a lot. Last updated, and we've got paternal line, we got maternal line. These keep moving around on me, which I find interesting. Anyway, but one of the things I wanted to point out that is new is up here, my Ancestry feed. So now we can go to this. It says a whole new world of discovery here. You can connect with others. You can stay up to date with people and topics you care about the most, make new discoveries, and share what you find. Invite others to collaborate with you. Which topics are you interested in? So I'm just going to check all of them just to see what this does because I haven't really played in here yet. And it's now setting up my feed. And so with that, hopefully it will now send me to this brand new area, and it's giving me all kinds of stuff. So play with that. It's look, we have trivia. We have a community story, which is probably where I was getting some of that spam from. People were just putting comments in and saying hello or hi, which I know from the spam world, it's indicative of spam. So if you're going to make a comment on somebody's story, say something more than hello or hi, because then people are going to ignore you. Anyway, so we have all of these community stories that are popping up, which I find interesting. And we've got all of my trees over here. This is kind of a totally different view. We can see my shoebox that I've had stuff in for years. So I can keep scrolling down, and these are all stories. It looks like a lot of them. So play with that. Who knows what you'll find over there. Check this out. Earlier, I was suggesting that you couldn't find the circles anywhere else, the ones that were in the messaging center. But under this My Ancestry feed, look at that, create a circle, so you can get to it from other places. One of the other updates is in the Ancestry Ethnicity Estimates. So we go to DNA and go to your results. By the way, Ancestry is having a sale right now. I'll put a link in the description box below. If you go to Discover Your Story, DNA inheritance now included in your membership. Okay. But they've updated the ethnicity estimates. So these are updated from about a year ago, and I went and compared them, and sure enough, yes, they have been updated from a year ago, and the map looks a little different. Everything's got kind of a new, cleaner look, which is kind of interesting, so you can compare it with your matches. They've also changed the colors on the chromosome painter, which is very colorful now. And so if you just want to look at where, which side your Swedish and Denmark, in my case, comes from my father's side, as you can tell, you can click on paternal, and you see all of the blue areas is where I'm getting my Danish ancestry from. On the maternal side, nothing. No Danish ancestry on my maternal side. So there's some nice features there that have been updated. Some of the coloring has been updated again here. Your ethnicity estimates are updated here as well, where it splits between your maternal and paternal. Why is this important? Because it helps you. You can kind of take a process of elimination from what you know. In my case, I know that I have Swedish and Denmark on my father's side, so therefore some of these other unknown, I did not know I had any Scotland at all, and that is on my mother's side. She was adopted, so we didn't know a lot about her growing up. Now I know that if I find any DNA cousins who have Scottish ancestry, I know that they probably come from my mother's side of the family. Same goes for Ireland. There's a little sliver of Ireland on my father's side, but most of it is on my mother's side. And so, you know, you can sit there and play with all of that. It is a lot of fun. And now they have, you know, that chromosome painter. We've had this for a little while, but they've kind of slowly updated it as far as colors go and everything. So there's another update. For those who have been asking me over and over again in the comments, when do they update the ethnicity estimates? It typically happens in September. Here it is, the beginning of September, and mine are updated. You know, they do roll these out over time to different places, different regions. So if you don't have your ethnicities updated just yet, then you'll know that it's probably coming. But keep in mind too, ethnicities are estimates. They change. People get really hung up on percentages sometimes, and they're based on reference panels. They're basically taking a bunch of people that are deeply rooted in different regions around the world, and they're using their DNA to help match you to the different regions around the world. Make sure you guys are scrolling all the way down too, because there's a lot of stuff to play with here in the DNA communities and where some of your DNA matches are coming from. You can even click into some of these areas and learn a little bit more. You can go through the timeline and see where some of these people migrated from. This is fascinating to me because I know, and I have been reading a lot about my Quaker ancestors and where they were coming from in European areas and where they settled in Pennsylvania and different places around the United States. Make sure you're checking all of that out when you are looking at your ethnicity estimates. If you want to know exactly which regions they have updated, I will leave a link in the description box below the video that shows exactly what areas that they have updated, but these are the ones that they have primarily updated. So you can click into any one of these and get more detailed information as to exactly what has been updated. Okay? If you're getting any value out of what I am putting out here today, please give me a like on the thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribed so you get more videos like this one in your YouTube feed. Let me show you one other thing. DNA Compare is kind of new. I haven't really talked about it much. You want to get to it from your DNA results, right? I'm clicking into the ethnicity estimates like we did before, but if we scroll down and we click Compare My DNA, you can compare this with some of your DNA cousins. Now, I have blurred out a lot of this just because of privacy issues, but you can add people by clicking and adding people to your comparison list. And here we can see the ethnicity breakout for each of my cousins and family members to see what their ethnicity is in comparison to my own. A lot of people have been asking how can they see what the ethnicity estimates are for their cousins. This is how you do it. It is very helpful when you're trying to figure out which branch of the family someone is coming from. You can do it right here. And you can also look at DNA communities with those same people and where their DNA communities are coming and going from. I want to briefly talk about some new features that came out a few months ago, and that is in the Activities tab. You have the tasks, you have the changes, and you have the people who are viewing your tree, which I find interesting because they may be family members, who knows, right? But you can also track the changes that you have made, and you can keep a task list. So you can create a list, like a collaboration list of people that are working on the tree together if you wish. I don't use the tasks so much. Changes is interesting. Viewers are interesting. So I wanted to point that out. So really the big changes are, hallelujah, we have a fan tree. Excellent. Oh, and one more thing about the fan. So you can hover over this. If you right click, you have a whole menu of things that you can do. So I could move this guy into the center circle if I want to see his tree by clicking on View Tree. Because I'm in the fan view, now it puts Benjamin Franklin Booth in the center, and now I'm looking at his tree. And boy, look at all the potential ancestors. So I've got some serious amount of work to do. So I'm going to get back to it. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please make sure you're subscribed, and we'll catch you in the next video.